complete dungeons.
Exactly.
I can understand that.
I can see why you would think that was a good idea in theory, but like that seems to be happening a lot with this quest. Is a lot of these sound like good ideas when you don't think about them for too long, but then when you put them into practice, you realize they seem to be incredibly tedious.
Exactly. That's mostly what this quest was about. Before this quest was made...
On Talking Time, I think you've been talking a lot, actually, Zyder, about, like, the possibility of, like, a group project with Zelda.
Yes.
Like, I'm gonna be totally honest, I have not been following that thread. Most of the threads I post in are, my bullshit posts in the Pit of Flames. Which is like, hey guys, how about them chemtrails?
And then you just sternly disapprove when they're not chemtrails.
Well, no, everybody tries to talk about actual politics and the bad politics thread, and I'm like, these are not bad enough. Because I'm a jerk. But go on. I know you have a process here, Zyger, but I just cannot for the life of me figure out what exactly the progression is in this temple. Like, you've been in this front room like 4 times now.
Actually, I'm starting to get lost now because I barely remember how this dungeon is supposed to work.
I am shocked that you would be lost in this titan of game design.
Man, this is just some straight up parallel world shit. Did you see some of like Garrison's videos on that, man?
Oh yeah,
I still want to like... I still wish that he had actually finished that because he's grapey.
It was something else.
Did you know a new version of Parallel Worlds was released?
What? No.
Version.
No, screw you. No, it didn't.
It's called the Parallel Remodel, and it takes
I know they were
the
doing like
Parallel
the sequel, but never really got anywhere, which is a shame because it looked.
So what did they change in this new version?
Yeah, what's updated?
Well, they actually tried to make it fair and balanced and fun. But there's a problem.
Really?
I sincerely doubt they succeeded in any fashion, but it's a noble endeavor.
Yeah,
actually,
kudos to them.
They almost would have succeeded, but because the game was so tightly put together and so hard to edit, that...
So basically, the game was... It was a situation where they had good intentions, but everything about their prior work worked to sabotage them.
Yeah, in nerfing the game, the only thing they could do was make everything dead simple.
That's saddening.
Completely artless refactoring of all the worst puzzles. It goes from...
So basically they would have been better off just starting again and just scrapping the parallel worlds concept entirely.
Yep.
Pretty much.
As I'm sure you know, there's like always like a tape delay on Twitch TV streams. And we can hear like some of the sound effects over these speakers, so I'm like getting total... my head's like in the blender now because I'm like hearing noises before they happen, and I'm seeing that I'm like, oh man, I'm clairvoyant.
Yeah, you guys are like a minute and a half behind me.
Really? That long? Wow, normally it's like only 15 seconds.
It's more like, I wouldn't say a minute and a half. It's more like 30 seconds to maybe a minute.
That's a pretty long delay still.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. People get the gift. The gift.
We have rarely talked about individual design decisions long enough for it to matter.
Yep. I do like the EOE room. The E-Heart E. ERD.
Hurry on down to Hardy's.
Oh dear. Something just happened that you're not gonna like.
Oh, freaking Wall Masters.
Okay, Family Master's ahead of me somehow, which is weird. Maybe.
The Wall Masters took him. He's back at the beginning of the freaking dungeon again.
Again?
Yes.
Wow, I am like way behind. I think my video pausing.
You try refreshing.
I'm gonna refresh. I'll refresh. Hopefully this will fix stuff. It'll get fixed.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe that happened.
I am the fixer.
I am not giving up. I'm going
the fixer, the mixer.
Wall Masters terrified me as a child.
Dude, Zelda would be terrifying to small children because the entire games are about, hey, you know what's awesome? Monsters coming out and killing a little boy.
Especially if you're a little boy.
Pretty great. If you're a little girl, you're safe. Actually, no, little girls just...
If you're a little girl, you're going to get kidnapped by a giant green man, or alternatively a giant pig man.
Not true. Sometimes he's just a giant black man. And now we're racist.
Well, I said green man.
Now you're racist.
Yes, yes I am. Thank you for knowing.
I'm going to hell. Zyder, you may as well just kill me now. It's all over. No,
Can I kill someone who's
there's
already
a fairy there. Going by like the other choices this game has made, I wouldn't be surprised if the fairy then shot fireballs at you.
No, thankfully,
Most
no.
of this hasn't really tweaked with enemy behavior, although it sure does go crazy on just filling rooms.
Yeah. Well, like, okay, one thing I've streamed a couple times and enjoy a great deal is this game doesn't really have much in the way of puzzles. If anything's a puzzle, it's push a block or kill enemy, and it's not really puzzling.
It's pretty straight up Zelda 1, which Zelda 1's pretty short on puzzles.
Okay.
Yes, and that's why you have all these weird design decisions, because you can't do much, and when you want to do something, this crazy nonsense is what you had to pull off.
Well, their goal was to create Zelda 1, and to be fair, Zelda 1 basically kicked off so much simply by being...
Zelda 1's a super important game. I don't like Zelda 1. I don't like playing Zelda 1.
I tried playing Zelda 1 once. I didn't enjoy it. Then the first Zelda I played was Ocarina of Time, and that's probably why I like Zelda so much, because Ocarina of Time's legit great.
My first one was Link to the Past, so subconsciously I judge all of them against that.
Okay, I haven't played that game much, but what I have played has been incredible. I really need to play it again. I'll get it on the Wii. So you feel like it.
Yeah, that's gonna be probably on there fairly soon at the rate they're going at.
But
that would be a great way to play it, just to have it on the gamepad.
Yeah, but no, but like those are excellent Zelda games. What came from Zelda 1 is super incredible, and that's why it surprises me so much that these guys set out with the explicit goal of just creating as much Zelda 1 as possible. Because even by this point, even on the like delayed time,
even by that point, most people would be more interested in things like Ocarina of Time or Link to the Past, because those
people
brought in a lot of people.
Like you said, 2002, right? That's 2 years after Majora's Mask was out, and Majora's Mask I consider to be the single greatest Zelda game ever.
And you would know by that point that, obviously you can't make something that imitates that at that time.
Yeah, I know you can't. That would be.
But you would link where it would trace its direct lineage in terms of its game design, which would be like Zelda 1 definitely has a lot of the puzzle as to what Zelda would become, but it sort of metamorphosizes into what it ultimately is around Link to the Past and Link's Awakening.
Right, yeah, those...
Where it becomes a puzzle box instead of a combat endurance test.
Yeah. Let's see how... test your might, essentially.
Here's a fun fact that you may not have known until now.
Probably did. Go ahead.
When they first started to modify Zelda Classic to make it more than just a Zelda 1 clone, they were not prepared for how finicky the code base was. They had
Which doesn't surprise me, because you're making something that's directly just supposed to imitate something very specific. You're probably putting in a lot of just things that exist to specifically imitate a very specific behavior.
Exactly.
Darker.
So when they would try to change anything or add anything new, something totally different that is completely unrelated would break.
Not surprising, but still tragic.
And so
I would imagine immensely frustrating.
And so that's why when the first major upgrade of the game was released after this one, it was such a big deal because it had been 2 or 3 years since the last one. It took them
It's
that long.
surprising to me.
Didn't you mention in the thread that it was only relatively recently that they got the ability to, for example, not permanently hot glue the sword to one of the buttons?
That's right.
That's really shocking to me, simply because, well, it's year 2013. We've had like amateur game design and like fan game is always going to be a thing. One thing I used to follow pretty obsessively, like back when I was a young idiot instead of an old
Sonic?
idiot, Sonic fan games. But I got to
Sonic Roboblast.
yeah, that shit was something else. But like over time, you got to watching this thing evolve. You got to see them go from being able to basically make a Mario slash Mega Man clone of a Sonic sprite to being able to make seriously a straight up Sonic game using an engine they now call Sonic Worlds. They've created basically all the tools you need to make a game that's, well, not perfect, close enough that anybody can just focus on level design and not worry about any of the other crap.
I'm sorry, I just like completely spaced out on that because you said Sonic Worlds, and now I'm imagining Sonic Parallel Worlds.
That would be amazing, but that's not important. What blows my mind is that this came out. What we're looking at right now is 2000, basically 11 years ago, and you're saying that just recently they managed to figure out how to make you able to do something else with the buttons. That's an awfully long time for what I would really have to call an awfully small amount of progress. I mean,
Well, it seems
But when
like
you're just married to that old code base that's like built specifically to ape Zelda 1, regardless of how sane the concept is, it probably produces just problems like that where just trying to fix something that simple is just bloody impossible.
I just sort of assumed, I guess, that like more attempts to be made. Okay, that's legit. I do like how it zooms out like that. That's pretty neat.
It's like a reverse of the opening of Link to the Past.
Oh, yeah, you want to see something cool?
Sure.
I'm just going
I always
to
wanna see
articulate here, but watch what happens when I pull the map up again.
What, we just became an X?
X marks the link.
X marks the link. Oh my!
I like how the X doesn't scale.
I like that. That's awesome.
That's a little bit frightening, actually.